Hello guys and welcome to TKG Games. Today's tutorial we're going to be solving problem 17 on project order, which is the number letter count. So pretty much what it does is it tells us to spell out the numbers in words, and then we have to count each individual letters. What it wants us to do is to count the letters of all of the numbers from 1 to 1000. Well, since 1000 is inclusive. And then it's saying that we don't need to count the spaces or the hyphens. So you can choose to either omit the spaces and the hyphens, right? Because they're not going to count. Or you can just add in stuff for readability. And eventually you're going to use the string that replace method to replace the spaces or the hyphens and the hyphens, right? And then it's saying that if you have 342, you have to say 342. Right, and in cases like 115, actually it's spelled 115, not 110.5, right? Because I did that earlier. I was doing the calculations for it, and then I forgot that we actually have these special cases, so I went ahead and added in later on. So let's go ahead and see exactly what I did. So what I did was pretty much I created a class for this. So I created a digit class, and all this digit class does is has a string with the spelled word for the actual number, and then the real number itself, and then I just have a constructor to initialize that. Then I have a getter, so I have two getters for the spelled value and then the real value, right? Now what I did was create an array here, and then I just pretty much just spelled the word and gave it the value, right? And I did that from 1 to 20, because from 11 to 19 they're special cases, and then the rest are just tens, so like 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and then we have the 100 to 1000. All right, so let's go ahead and start pretty much writing the solution for this. So what we do is we have this array that I created called digit data. Right, so I have a class called digit data, and this is gonna just create an array here with all of the digits that we actually need to build everything else. So what I want to do is I actually want to go ahead and do a search, and let me just increase this so that we can see more, and let me close this out. All right, string, and this is going to be letter representation. So this is just to get the letter representation in strings, okay? And then what we do, we want to take the digit that we want to represent with words, and then we're gonna go through and get the data from the digit data. So this is the method that I created up top, and all we need a string to hold the actual representation. So it's going to be empty for now. Next, what I want to do is we want to go ahead and search. So I'm going to go ahead and create digit data D from the equal. Well, we want it from the actual array, right? Next, we're gonna let me close this out. So we're gonna say that if D dot get the real value is equal to digit, then str. Let me go ahead and close this out. So we're going to say that str is going to equal to d dot get the spelled value, and then we can just go ahead here and break once we find that, and then we can go ahead and actually just return str. So this is going to be the for searching the spelled value. All right, so now that we have that, we need to go ahead and actually generate the combinations for the actual spellings. So this one is going to be generate, just call it combination, taking the int value. Alright, so there are ways that we can do this. So we can start the while loop at number greater than 10, or we can start at a number greater than 20, because if it's like 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, then we don't really care about that. But since those are also special cases, we might need to actually add that within the code. So what I just did was add it within the while loop and just created a long while loop that check for all of the cases. Okay, so what we need is var, and this is gonna hold the AND word because it's needed for this program. We have to count it. Next, what we need to do is keep track of the result. So I'm gonna create a result here. This is gonna be empty for now. Next, I'm gonna create a while loop. I'm gonna say while value is greater than 10. Because the value is 1 to 10, then we don't really care about it. We can just go ahead and return the letter representation at the end of the loop, or right after the loop. Okay, so if it's a single digit, we don't really care about that. All right, so what we want to do is we want to check for the thousands place. So we're going to say if that's equals to 1000, right? That means that the result is going to equal the letter representation, and then pass in the value, right? And to get out of the loop, what we need to do is we need to reset the value. So we're going to say that value is going to be equal to 0. So now when it comes back up, value is going to be 0, and it's going to exit the loop. Next thing we want to do is we want to check for the actual special cases. We're going to say if the value is greater than 10 and the value, right, is less than 20. So this is the special cases for like 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. We're going to say that the result is going to equal letter representation, and then we're going to pass in the value, and then we need to go ahead and also reset the value here. So we're going to say value equals to 0 so that we can just exit. All right. So now what we want to do is want to check the values between that are less than 1000 and also less than 120. All right. So what we're going to say is that if the value is less than 1000 and the value is greater than 119, all right. So here we have to use the mod. We have to use the mod. So what I want to do is want to get the mod, because now this is going to be in the hundreds place. Okay, so we're going to say var mod is going to equal value mod 100. All right, so now we're going to get the remainder in the mod, right? So next we want to do is we're going to say that the value is going to equal the value minus the mod, and then we're going to say the result is going to equal the letter representation and the value. Right, so remember that if we take a value, let's say we have a value like 120, right, and then we mod that, so we're going to get 20 back. And then if we subtract the value from the mod, we get the actual number back, so it's going to be 100. So now we can just say, okay, well, it's 100, and then the remainder, we can use the mod later on, right? So, but we need to check first. We're going to say, well, if the mod is not equal to 0, that means that there's actually a remainder after that, right? That's it actually has a remainder. So what we're going to do is we're going to say that the result, we're going to add a space now. So the result equals result.concat, and then we need to add spaces here. All right, so now we want to go ahead and add the and, because we know that it's going to go ahead and have something after it. Right, now what we want to do is we want to make the value equals the remainder, because we need to keep on going. So we're going to say value equals to mod. And then what we want to do is check if the number is actually in the tens place, or it's you know, if it's in the tens place, then we have to just add a space. If it's not, then we have to go ahead and concat the value. So we're going to say that if the value is greater than 10, all right, then the result is going to equal the result.concat. We're just going to add an empty space, because we know the value is going to be either 10 or 9 or 8 or something like that. So next we're going to say if the value is less than 20, right? That means that it's a special, it's just like 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Then we have to go ahead and reset the actual value, right? So we're going to say first, we're going to say result is going to equal result dot concat, and then we're going to pass in the letter representation because it's going to be a whole spelling. And then what we need to do is we need to reset this here. So this needs to be inside of here. So Control V, and then the value is going to equal to 0. All right. So now that we have that, we need to go ahead and actually check the case for numbers that are greater than 100 and less than 119, because that also is a special case. Okay. So what we're going to do is say that if the value is greater than 100 and the value is less than or equal to 119, then what we want to do is we want to get the mod. So we want to get that value mod 20. So we're going to say var mod is going to equal to value, right, mod 20. And I just realized that we need to actually close this out. All right, so the value is going to be that mod 20. And let me see here. Do this again. So that if, because sometimes in IntelliJ it doesn't align things well, so your code might look off, and value is less than or equal to 119. Okay. So let me just go ahead here and return the result dot concat, and then we're going to do letter, and we're going to pass in the value. So that should start giving me errors. So I know that this loop here is open and close here. All right. So we're going to say that var mod is going to equal, and then the value mod 20. All right. Next one is going to say that the value is going to equal the value minus the mod. Next, going to say that the result is going to equal the letter representation, and they're going to pass in the value, right? And then you need some spaces. So rather than do that, I'm just going to add these spaces here, and I'll do and. All right. Next one, so that the result is going to equal the result dot concat. Do empty space plus letter representation, and then the mod. Okay. So hopefully you guys get that. So we're in the 20th place. So if we're within this, then we need to get the actual remainder. So let's say that we're at 100, right? And we get so we go ahead and mod this by, we're gonna get 0, right? So this is not gonna do anything. However, if we mod something by 20 here, we're gonna get numbers between 11 and 19. Okay, so that's what we're doing it by 20 here, so we can work out this special case here for 115, 116, 117, 118, 119. So this is what I'm doing here, right? So the mod, so if we are at 100, we get that, which is going to be 100. However, if we something greater than that, then we're gonna use the remainder to actually get the 19 or the 20. That's why I'm doing the AND here. Okay. So once we're done with that, we need to go ahead and reset the value to 0. Then we need to do the last thing we need to do here is check for all the numbers below 100. So I'm going to say if value is less than or equal to 100, then you're going to say var mod is going to equal to the value mod 10. So now we're in the 10 place. Then we want to go ahead and say that the value equals to the value minus the mod. Next, we're going to say that the result is going to equal the result dot concat, and then we're going to pass in the letter representation, and then we're going to pass in the value. All right. So now we're going to say that the value is going to equal the mod, which is the remainder. We're going to say that if the value is not equal to 0, meaning that there's it has a remainder, then we're going to go ahead and add space, because it's going to go ahead and it's going to be a single digit, so we're going to be fine with that. It's going to equal to the result dot concat, and then we're going to add in the space, and this will take care of the actual solution for this. So what we need to do next is we need to actually figure out how to go ahead and print out the letters, okay, in Word. So what we need to do is we need to go ahead and let's just create main for now. So do public static void main, do strings, ellipse, and arcs. So what we can do is just test it out. So this is going to be, I'm going to do system out, and this is going to be generate combination, and let's pass in 200. So this should just give us 200. So you can see here we do get 200. So let's do 201. I think the spacing might be off, but it's okay. So we do have 201, and let's do 212. All right, so we should get 212. So you guys can see we get 212. I think somewhere I might have added an extra space, but it doesn't matter because for the actual count we can take off the spaces. We need to take off the spaces. Okay, so you guys can see that this algorithm actually is working. And let's do one more. Let's do 516. All right, bring that out, and you will see that we do get 516. So now that we're pretty much done with this, what we need to do is we need to actually create some method to go ahead and do the letter count. So I'm going to go ahead and create another method, static long, and this would be for actually generating the letter counts. Okay, so it's going to be, let me see, this one's going to generate output, and then this is going to go ahead and take an int. You're going to call this one limit. So what we need to do is we need to sum things up, so we need a variable for that. We'll call this summation, maybe equal to 0L. Alright, next we need to create a for loop. We're going to say for var x equal to 1, x is less than or equal to the limit to x plus plus. Next, what we want to do is we want to create a string. So I'm going to say var str is going to equal to the generate combination, and then x, and we want to go ahead and replace all of the spaces. All right, so we want to replace these spaces with no spaces. So with closed spaces, and let me just string this up for a little bit. Okay, so now we've done that. What we need to do is we need to actually go ahead and count by adding the length to the summation, so this plus equal to the str dot length. All right, and then all we need to do here is return the summation. So let's go back into the actual main here. Let's go back to main here, and all we need to do here is do SRT and then generate the actual output and pass 1000 inside, and then this should give us the actual result. Alright guys, so this will be it for this tutorial. If you find a way to rewrite this and make it a lot more cleaner, please post the code underneath the comment section, or you can just email me the code or have it on GitHub and then let me know in the comment section so I can take a look at it. I know that this is not probably the best way to do it. My first initial solution was to use enums, but then I realized that even with the custom enum class, I cannot have a string like 110 with spaces with enum, so I had to go ahead and completely take that off and just create a class for that. Alright guys, this will be it for this tutorial. If you like it, please give me a thumb up and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Have a good day. Bye bye.